Welcome back to another YouTube kick and post video. I said that a little backwards, but it's fine.
hmm
We got a nice little strategy video for you guys. We're going to be drafting from an early position in a Superflex redraft league.
Yes.
I'm going to start out with the 1-2. I'm also going to start out with the 1-3. We're going to kind of just go over what we like to do in these certain positions.
Yeah, we'll drop a early round, a late round, and possibly depending how those two go, a middle round strategy as well, a middle of the round strategy. But yeah,
So we're going to hop right into it if you want to go ahead and
yeah. Let
start
me
it up,
go
Amal.
ahead. Um, it is Superflex, so let's see what the computer thinks is the number one pick. And boom, right off the board, Patrick Mahomes.
So my first pick is going to
Yeah,
be Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, we can't really control what the computer does. It's kind of just random.
yeah.
Uh,
And
and,
people
and
value the quarterback very highly in Superflex leagues as well. So it's not out of the realm for a Patrick Mahomes to go that early in Superflex.
so yeah, that is why I picked McCaffrey because I don't really value quarterback as much.
Correct.
I'd rather stack up in different positions such as running back, or if say I was background, we go into it a little bit more, but a more of a receiver option depending on who gets taken prior.
Yeah, I also agree with the notion of stacking up on your running backs early and often. So that's why with the 1-3, I'm going to go Dalvin Cook. As you see, a lot of quarterbacks getting rattled off the
Ooh.
board pretty early. Um, I'm not here clicking around too much. But we'll break down these picks a little bit when we get back to my pick, which I'm back now at the 2-8, and we've had 7 running backs go off the board. And 5 QBs. That's not unheard of. Tyreek Hill at the 2-1 is a bit of a surprise. Travis Kelsey that early also. I wouldn't reach for my tight end that early necessarily, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. He puts up wide receiver 1 type numbers at his peak. I think he was a wide receiver 1 by his numbers last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh
But
yeah.
looking at the options left on the board, I have Devontae Adams, Russell Wilson, Stephon Diggs, Austin Eckler. So here I'm gonna go ahead and take the jump and take Austin Eckler because I'm high on the fact that he has the possibility to finish as a running back 1 this year. That offense I expect to be clicking at on a different level going forward with Justin Herbert at quarterback. Um, and I feel like if he's even allotted half the amount of receptions he got last year, he'll be worth the pick in the second round. If it wasn't him, I was looking at Najee back here as well because of volume.
So for my second pick, I'm actually gonna elect to not draft another running back. I could go Najee, I could go Antonio Gibson, very viable plays, but I believe that at this ADP, at the 2-9, Devontae Adams is a touchdown machine. He's getting Aaron Rodgers back for sure this year, so Devontae Adams is definitely my pick. And then
Worked out
with
perfectly for me.
the guy grabbed Russell Wilson and Diggs, or the computer did. So then I'm gonna go ahead and I am gonna draft Antonio Gibson here actually.
Ooh, and I've been sniped. I have
Strictly
picked.
because I think that Washington's offense will take a slight step. Not too high on Fitzpatrick and the quarterback battle that they should be having right now. But their offense will definitely be better. Antonio Gibson showed flashes of scoring multiple touchdowns week to week to week. I think it was like 5 in a row.
hmm
So he's a promising young talent.
I'm sticking with my theory here with running backs off early and often. This is a super flex league. I'm pretty sure it's 2 running backs and 1 flex spot and a super flex. At that being the case, I'm gonna go ahead. It might be a little bit of a reach, but I won't be able to get him on the turn. I'm gonna go J.K. Dobbins right here at the 3-3, and then I'll let the picks go around.
A lot of receivers going off the board.
Tight
The rest of the
ends,
top tight ends as
yeah.
well.
Which in this case now with the big 3 gone, I'm not looking to target tight end anywhere soon. Now, after missing out on the big 3, so I'll be taking tight end flyers at the back end of the rounds. Now that I'm in the 4th, I'm going to start looking at either high end QB here, or now start taking a peek at my wide receivers. So this is why I say I like to wait on wide receivers till no earlier than the fourth round, because the talent that's available now at the top, well, at the back end of the fourth round, I'm looking at guys like Terry, who's young, Allen Robinson, who's been a proven top 10 receiver, going on almost 3 years now, Keenan Allen, who has the potential to finish wide receiver 1 or top 5 wide receiver in my opinion based on volume. We have CD, a young promising talent back here as well, Amari Cooper. So there's just endless talent back here. I don't feel like I have to reach for a wide receiver as early as the other teams did, and I have, in my opinion, quite a bit of an advantage at the running back position by going running back, running back, running back. So here I'm leaning towards I like Scary Terry, but let me go with my heart. I'm gonna take Scary Terry as my wide receiver 1 on my team.
So as you said, the top 3 tight ends are off the board, but I actually am super high on Kyle Pitts this year. A lot of targets are going to be opened up because Julio left.
Yeah.
I've seen what Matt Ryan can do with a decent tight end, and I feel like Kyle Pitts is more of a receiver anyway. So I'm actually going to elect to take Kyle Pitts here,
Okay.
and then target a quarterback on the way back, which ends up being Aaron Rodgers.
Which is a solid QB to have in a Superflex league as your number 1 QB pick. Looking on the board, quite a few teams have 2 quarterbacks already. Team 1, Team 4, Team 5. So gauging that, I'm looking at the remaining QBs left on the board, and there's still viable options late that I do not mind. But I would like to get my QB1 here at this 5th round pick, and I'm leaning towards. I like Jalen Hurts, but Philly's offense is such a question mark for me. I don't know on what side of the fence he'll finish, if he'll even finish as the starter, to be honest. There's still a lot to happen, moves to be made. So I'm going to go with All Reliable right here. It is a bit of a reach for him, but in a Superflex, I feel like it's not really that much of a reach. I'm going to start with TB as my QB1.
Yeah, I feel like Tom Brady has a really high floor with the offense that he's in.
Yeah.
Second year with Mike Evans, there was multiple times that they were on different pages last year. I feel like that's really rectified in their second year together.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the weapons that he does have, it's just going to get more continuity there, like with a guy like AB, Godwin, OJ Howard's back. We'll see how he plays for them as tight end. But we're back to me now at the 6-8 pick. The last 2 young tight ends went off the board, Hawkinson and Andrews, that I would even regard targeting in this area. So I'm definitely waiting on tight end now. Looking at what's available, I have a Kareem Hunt, Myles Gaskin's, Mike Davis as my running backs right here. I will not be targeting them necessarily because I have gone so running back heavy already. I'll try to take another high end receiver right here. And based on what's available, I'm a little bit skeptical of DJ Moore with Sam Darnold. Chris Godwin at this ADP, I have a different Bucks receiver that I like in the later rounds that I'll be trying to target. I know I probably will have to beat Otto for him because we have similar thinking on that guy. I'm going to do it because I feel like the guy I want will still be there on the turn. The ADP has not adjusted to this person yet, but I'm going to go James Robb. I think the volume will be there. I think that at the 6th round, he's a very viable option to finish as a top 12 running back. I like him more than Henderson. I like him more than Carson at this moment. I have him above Sanders on my ratings right now as well. Way above Josh Jacobs as well, just based on the volume now since Etienne is hurt. And of course, the ADP will adjust as time passes, but the injury is still pretty fresh, so Sleeper hasn't adjusted its ADP. So I decided for sure. Now I'm solid at running back position for possible top 12 finish running backs. I feel like I have a huge advantage of the position, and now I can kind of leave the position alone for a while.
So with my next pick, I'm going to like to go Amari Cooper. I'm very high on Amari Cooper with Dak Prescott under center. You saw the numbers he put up last year with Dak. Even without Dak, he didn't have a bad year. But Dak is looking to come back strong, hopefully healthy, and I believe that'll translate really well to a true wide receiver 1 in Amari Cooper.
Got you, got you.
So that leaves me, after two more receivers are taken off the board, it does leave me in a little bit of a crunch with running backs.
There's
But
options out there though.
I do like Kareem Hunt. Um, but do I like Myles Gaskin a little bit more? Will Mike Davis be around the next turn?
I don't think
Probably
Mike
not.
Davis makes it back to you.
But there is one other running back later on that I do like a lot. So I am going to go for Kareem Hunt. He can put up top 15 numbers, as we said in the AFC North video,
Yeah.
that he can put up top 15 numbers. And if, say, Nick Chubb gets hurt, then he's obviously a top 5 play almost every week.
This is true.
Top 7 play.
This is true. This is true. So I'm a bit of a pickle here. Again, there's a lot of options left to me here at wide receiver that I do like. It's just I'm worried about who will make it back to me on the turn based on the ADP. I think I'm going to ride with Cooper Kupp at right here. It's a PPR league. I feel like the format will fit him very well to acquire a lot of receptions in that offense. The Rams offense I have projected to be like a top 10 offense, probably top 6 offense. So I'm not against the idea of taking him right there. I also think the ADP hasn't adjusted on Michael Thomas because if you're in a redraft league, in my opinion, he should be completely off your board. I don't think he'll be back until week 12. I feel like you're paying a premium for a guy you're not going to have a lot of the year. And then when you get him back, it's not 100% certain that he'll be 100% off the injury. So he went earlier than I think he should have. But I kind of felt lucky here. I had 4 guys I was targeting at the wide receiver position. I took one and 2 went off the board. So now I'm able to sneak in here and get my next pick, which is T. Higgins. I know the hype is there for Jamar Chase. He did go at the 6'6" in this mock. But I feel like this offense will be viable enough to have 2,000-yard receivers. And T. Higgins has been showing out in preseason and in training camp. And he showed out last year. And I feel like being a second-year receiver, he'll have more of his NFL feet under him than a Jamar Chase who's coming out after sitting out a year, his COVID year at LSU. So T. Higgins at the 8-8, I like that value.
So here I'm going to target actually another wide receiver who I feel like is being slept on quite a bit, coming off an ACL injury. I believe Odell Beckham Jr. has a nice little bounce back season. I don't really have much time to talk about that further on, but we did mention that again in the AFC North video as we continue to draft quite a bit of people from the AFC North. Very talented division.
Yeah.
So with my 9th pick,
Early night too.
with my 9th pick, I'm actually going to go for the starting running back for the 49ers. It might be a little bit of a reach in the 9th round, but it's not like it's dynasty.
Yeah.
And Mostert's good for at least 4 games of pure health. So, as my 4th running back, I don't think it's a very bad depth piece.
No, I'm very hesitant on taking a guy like Mostert with that running back by committee. That's why I try to target my running backs really early so I don't have to worry about taking somebody like that. I do like his teammate a lot, but I'm looking at pieces that are left on the board, and I'm thinking I should target receiver again, to be honest. Let me look through my options. Because running back, I feel like he might be there on the way back. If not, there's another running back I like to target late that I feel will slip to me back there. There's also QB that I could still address. I only have one, and I have the potential to lock up a solid second option, a viable second option, which I think I will do right now, actually. I'm going to go ahead with the 9th pick, the 9-3. I'm going to take Trey Lance. And it's solely on the idea that he will be the starter at some point this year. Hopefully, within the first 6 games, they'll kind of make that move. But I feel like I have to pay the premium to keep him, or else I won't get the opportunity to draft him here, and I can go ahead and draft Jimmy Garoppolo in the 16th round. His ADP is very low, and I feel like he'll be a very good producer for me until they make the switch, to make the transition. The guy I really wanted to take went off the board at the 10-5, but I decided not to overload the roster with running backs, even though in a redraft league, you try to create positional scarcity so that you could force people to trade with you and you could upgrade certain positions based on you having a position of need for a lot of guys. But Trey Sermon goes at the 10-5, which I think is a great value. Melvin Gordon went at 10-2, which I think is a little bit early, to be honest. But Javonte Williams going ahead of him might be a mistake in redraft. I try to dial that back a bit, in my opinion. I think he does not have the clear-cut RB1 role for that team yet, and to take him ahead of Melvin Gordon might end up being a mistake in redraft, of course. I have 30 seconds to make my pick. I can still address the wide receiver position. I think I will go ahead and do that. One guy who's been getting slept on a lot. What pick are we at? The 10th round, right?
Yep.
Not going to wait any longer. Antonio Brown. I've said it in a video before. I'm pretty sure we've made a bet on it in a video before. I believe Antonio Brown will lead the Bucks in receptions this year, and this is a PPR league. So I feel like I'm getting a high floor point getter in the 10th round that could easily start for me on weeks that I'll need it. Possibly end up playing so well he just gets in the starting lineup.
So here with my 10th pick, I am actually going to target another wide receiver. As I've drafted 3 wide receivers, 4 running backs. I already have my starting tight end, and I do have a quarterback, which I will address on with my 11th pick. But here, I'm going to take not really much of a flyer, but also another AFC North player that I feel like is super undervalued in Tyler Boyd. And I believe he's undervalued because of how much people are so high on Jamar Chase, but he's a slot receiver anyway. Yeah. So I think his value doesn't go down. I think he'll still be more of a safety net for Joe Burrow, who seemingly doesn't have that much offensive line help still.
And they're going to be losing, so they'll be chasing. There'll be opportunities to throw.
And with my 11th pick, I'm going to address a quarterback that is pretty questionable. But the value, if he does play, is there.
I like it. I like the pick.
And it is Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
Do I think he actually plays this year? Probably not. If I had to redo that pick, I'd actually wait another round for quarterback, and I would probably go ahead and draft Damian Harris. Who is
you pretty much segued into my next pick. Go
ahead.
The backfield has cleared up quite a bit. They moved Sony Michel to the Rams, which in my opinion makes it pretty clear that Damian Harris is going to be the lead touch getter in that backfield. I feel like Ramondre Stevenson will give him a run for that role in the future, but as of now, it's Damian Harris's job to lose. Reports are coming out that it's going to be Cam as the guy there. So I feel like a nice duo of Cam and Damian Harris giving you rushability from the backfield. I think that'd be solid. And he is my running back 5. Again, he does well. I can move him for a piece that I can move him and one of the lesser end tight ends I'm planning on driving from the back end for a higher value tight end if somebody suffers an injury. Say we're looking at a team like Team 10. They have Javonte Williams, Mike Davis, and Connor. 2 of those running backs could not be playing for them for the first 5 weeks. James Conner with injury, which he's been known to get injured, and Javonte Williams not getting the job yet. I could move a Damian Harris and somebody else, maybe a Damian Harris and an Antonio Brown, and move up for like an AJ Brown or something like that if they need a running back bad enough. So, Lewis having moves like that. At the 12-8, sheesh, I can't even get my thing back up. Let me go ahead. Okay, so I'm not really looking at running backs right now. The receivers I like are late round. I'm going to take my first tight end, and I'm going to reach on an older guy that I feel like will still have a lot of touchdown capabilities. And I'm taking Rob Gronkowski with that pick. I feel like him and Brady just have a natural chemistry, and second year removed from being retired, I think you'll be a little bit more in shape coming into the beginning of the year.
Gotcha. You also have a nice little stack there too.
Yeah, I got a little A B Rob Gronk Tom Brady stack, which I love that stack because it's late round guys, and then I don't have to pay the premium for like a Godwin in the seventh or Mike Evans in the sixth.
So with my 12th pick, I am going to bolster my quarterback position. I believe Derek Carr has a really, really high floor,
Yeah,
and I like him more than most of the other quarterbacks projected higher than him. I'm not very high on Tua. Carson Wentz has injury problems. Daniel Jones throws ducks. Ryan Fitzpatrick might not be the starter the whole year. Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. I do like Zach Wilson as well, but I believe Derek Carr has the highest floor, and as my technically my third quarterback, if Deshaun Watson were to play, I'd like a higher floor.
I don't hate it.
So that moves into my 13th pick, which I believe I have not thought this far. I'm gonna draft a kicker. No, I'm just playing.
Oh gosh.
Um, I'm gonna go for what seems to be a newfound wide receiver one in New York, and
Hmm.
a lot of people aren't as high on Corey Davis as I am, but I was very impressed with what he did last year with the Titans, and I believe he can further
Duplicate.
progress
Yeah.
where he was drafted 5 years ago. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
You feel like he'll be the wide receiver he was drafted to be? He'll start showing those kind of signs again.
yeah.
Okay. I don't hate the pick, especially back there. I don't hate the pick. He is one of the highest volume receivers that's going that late. Like he will be getting a ton of targets at that position, and for him to be going that late is kind of wild.
And
Okay.
they've already showed like somewhat of a connection in preseason as well.
Yeah, there has been a connection there. I'm gonna go ahead and take Tua here. I feel like he probably won't slip to you at this point in much drafts. It's 13th round. He's projected an 83rd pick, roughly. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the flyer on him back here. I feel like he will start the season. The backup isn't much of detriment to him. They're gonna give him the year to figure it out. So he'll end up probably being my QB2 to start the season because I don't think Trey Lance is starting. It seems like Jimmy Garoppolo has that job for the foreseeable future. We'll see how soon they go ahead and give the keys to Trey Lance. I'm gonna wait till the turn to address my next QB, but I'm gonna take a guy I'm getting higher and higher on. I haven't mentioned it in any videos or anything like that, but Rondell Moore, man, listen, I feel like this guy's a weapon. I feel like he's gonna get touches out of the backfield because Edmonds is small. Connor's an injury prone back. I feel like he's going to get thrusted into a role where he ends up getting touches out of the backfield. He's going to be that Swiss Army knife guy. He's going to get screen passes. AJ Green is the wide receiver two out there. Christian Kirk hasn't showed much. Larry Fitzgerald isn't back. So I feel like he's going to be moved all over the field. And he has the weapons to kind of blow the game open. So he is the guy I like. I would compare him a lot to how Elijah Moore plays. But I think with the ADP, I'll take the flyer back here on him.
So here, this is definitely a reach for me. With all the injuries that Christian McCaffrey suffered, and last year, and Mike Davis really stepped up in that role. I am gonna get my handcuff here very very early, just based on risk of my first round pick getting injured.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Chuba Hubbard,
Okay.
the big man.
Yeah.
Um, where did he go to school?
Chuba Hubbard went to school at Oklahoma
OSU,
State.
right?
Oklahoma State, yeah.
Yeah.
Canadian.
And that leads me into my next pick, which I believe I want to go quarterback again.
Okay.
Let's see these receivers. He'll probably be there later. Yeah, so my next pick is actually going to be, so I can wait for him. This is tough.
Mm-hmm.
Later rounds are always really tough,
Yeah.
especially when some of the guys I was aiming for have already been off the board.
Yep.
Which time do I have? 30 seconds. All right, I'm gonna do it. This is another reach, but another AFC North player, and Sammy Watkins. He will be the wide receiver one there, despite Rashad Bateman being drafted in the first round. he has suffered an injury in practice
Yeah,
or the
Rashard
first
Bateman
preseason game.
injured already, and is expected to. I think he's racing back for the first game, or he's going to miss the first game.
Yeah, but I believe Sammy Watkins has wide receiver one talent.
Hmm.
He's hasn't been on the field for the most part, but hopefully he can turn the corner with his injury bug and really help Lamar advance in his throwing ability.
Yeah, give him a solid person to go to with the ball when things break down. Um, I was thinking about addressing the quarterback position, but there's still like four guys I'm okay with being my QB 3/4, depending when Trey Lance starts. So I'm gonna hold off on that for a bit. I'm gonna go back to the wide receiver position. I'm gonna take somebody who I feel is gonna have crazy volume because there's not many more guys to pass to down there. A lot of the guys they signed in the offseason have been underwhelming in preseason and in training camp. I'm gonna go with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Was a huge prospect coming out of the draft before he tested, and they realized he was slower than expected, a little bit shorter than expected. But he's been showing out in preseason and training camp. That's kind of my saying right now, showing out in preseason and training camp. But I feel like he is one of the few rookies that I can be assured will probably demand 100 to 120 targets for that team immediately because there's just so many holes in their wide receiving core. I feel like he'll get some targets early and often, and he'll do well with them. Back on the board, I'm looking at tight ends. I might want to take a flyer here on another tight end, seeing that I have Gronk. I don't know which one to necessarily take a flyer on. Give me. Give me Jacoby Myers. Think he's going to end up with wide receiver one numbers in the New England Patriots wide receiving group. I think he's the most talented of the trio or four of them that's there. Has the best continuity with Cam to start the season. And I think he'll be a good safety blanket for a guy like Mac Jones when he gets there. There was a stat showing that Nelson Aguilar is running 77% go routes in the preseason. So he's literally just going deep. While Jacoby Myers' route tree is quite diverse to go into training camp and preseason. So I feel like he'll be more of the over-the-middle guy, slot guy. He'll run little out routes, stuff like that. Easy completions. And he has the capability to go deep as well. So at the 16-8, I think he's a very valuable pick at receiver.
So for my next pick, I'm getting another receiver in Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
Cole Beasley last year had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, a lot of games over 10 points.
Yeah.
Majority of his games were 10 points. He had through 2 games under 10 points. That's a really good floor for this late in the draft. Obviously, we're playing a kicker and a defense league right now, but I don't really plan on drafting that. I can just pick that up and drop guys that I am less likely to play.
Yeah.
And honestly, in leagues like this, you don't really have to draft a second tight end either, because I mean there's very viable options. Trotman, Cole Kmet stepping up in his role.
I wouldn't necessarily say viable, but you'll take the risk if something happens.
Viable for a 1 week flyer.
Yeah.
Gerald Everett.
Matchup play.
Touchdown guy for Russell Wilson. Austin Hooper looking to have a bounce back year. But for my next pick, I'm actually going to snag. Shit, I have no idea. I'd hoping it was coming to me right there, but the guy you were trashing, Nelson Aguilar.
Okay.
Wide receiver 1, the real wide receiver 1.
I mean, back there you really can't. There's not many. If you're getting him at that position, there's not much of like a I can't hit you on that pick at all.
Oh no!
What?
I regret that.
Why do you regret that?
Because I see the other guy. I didn't know he was that far down the list.
Zach Wilson?
No.
Oh, it's a wide receiver?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back here. 17th round. Again, I also subscribe to the idea of forget kickers and defenses. You could pick them up literally the day before you start. because anything could happen, especially if you're drafting at this point in time and the season starts on the 9th. Anything could happen in that period of time where you could get some insane value and flip somebody who might have suffered an injury in the last preseason game or in training camp. You could flip somebody off your bench to help another team and benefit your team. So I always disregard defense, especially in kicker, because you could stream that position. I'm looking at my QB group. I need another quarterback. So I am going to go with
Jake Luton.
Jimmy Garoppolo, because he's definitely starting week 1. And as soon as he stops starting, we slip Trey Lance in there. It's very beneficial to my team. I'll keep that. We're at the last pick of the draft for me coming up. And as I said, I disregard kicker and defense. I'll figure that out later. I'm not even going to look at the quarterback position like that right now. Looking at the wide receivers, there's guys I like, but I've loaded up on quite a bit of wide receivers. Don't plan to take a tight end. This is 2 QB, so I should be smart about it. I have quite a bit. I'm going to go with a guy that I feel like has a high ceiling if he's able to perform the way he's been performing in preseason, and that's Jameis. I'll take the flyer. We've seen him be a top 5 QB in fantasy, even with all the turnovers and issues he's had. So I'll go ahead and I'll take that flyer on James Winston in the 18-8. And if anything, I'll drop my rookies because it's redraft. So rookies don't usually pop off in the first week. You could drop them, pick up your defense, pick up your kicker, and then just keep an eye on them on the waivers for when they start kind of sprouting. So.
Yeah, for my last pick, I picked Sony Michel. He just got moved to the Rams. Go ahead and check out that video on our channel. Mm-hmm. And I believe that he'll be getting running back 1 level works with Darrell Henderson being hurt, and that's it. So also, we basically had. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was about to say also Darrell Henderson not really having running back 1 type of frame. He's usually a change of pace back, so don't be surprised if you see Sony Michel on early downs and goal line work.
Yeah. So our strategies differed a little bit, and if you guys made it this far into the video, thank you for watching.
For sure.
But Amal was really heavy on running backs. I kind of went on talent, but definitely waiting on the quarterback position more than the computer did anyway. Yeah. And from our personal experience, more than what other people do as well.
We've combined to do pretty well in fantasy leagues, and we've definitely figured out the strategies to try to target running backs early because, again, positional scarcity and how scoring works, it's harder for you to find a top 10 running back than it is to find a viable top 10 receiver. And if you see teams like Team 1, his running back situation is going to be abysmal. Like, he'll have weeks where his second running back probably won't score 10 points. So.
And that is where the one flaw of mock drafts, especially when you're drafting with a computer, no one's going to wait till the 9th round to get a running back.
Exactly.
It's just not viable for success in an actual season.
Yeah. But anyway.
But our last little tidbits is target running backs early, especially if you can get the studs. Get the studs while you can.
And don't buy the hype. Don't buy the hype. I love Trevor Lawrence as a Jags fan, but do not reach for Trevor Lawrence in the 5th round when you could get especially in redraft, when you could get say, Kirk Cousins in the 8th, because the positional difference isn't going to be as crazy as you think. Trevor Lawrence isn't going to come out the gate and be a Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen or Kyler Murray or Jackson type of producer. So play it smart. Don't just play the names.
That's been it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out our podcast on almost all platforms at Kick and Post.
Yes.
Social media all at Kick and Post. And on that note, all right, y'all boys.